The story revolves around Gu Xiaojiao, a woman in her 30s living in Shanghai. At 12, she lost her millionaire father in a tragic accident and had to move out of her childhood home. Ever since she started working, Gu has been saving up in hopes of repurchasing the house. Unfortunately, her current job doesn't pay her enough to achieve her goal. Next, we meet Lu Ming, a struggling property designer who is having a hard time finding a client interested in his concepts. Despite his best efforts, he hasn't had any luck so far. At the end of the day, both Lu Ming and Gu return to their modest apartments in the same neighborhood building. Strangely, it appears that they occupy the same unit in the building, but in different timelines. Gu is seen doing her laundry, while Lu Ming is preparing his meal. Oddly enough, when Lu Ming begins washing vegetables in his sink, they somehow appear in Gu's bathtub. Similarly, a loofah from Gu's bath shows up in Lu Ming's sink. Even stranger, her laundry ends up in his cooking pot, and his dinner appears in the spot where her clothes should be. As the night continues, their belongings keep swapping places between their apartments. Both are puzzled, but eventually ignore the bizarre occurrences and head to bed. In the morning, Lu Ming is jolted awake by a slap across his face. To his surprise, his room and Gu Xiaojiao's have merged into one enormous space. At first, both of them are startled, thinking someone has broken in. However, they soon realize their apartments have somehow fused together, leaving them baffled. The scene outside their windows adds to the confusion. On Gu's side, it's a bright sunny day, while Lu Ming's side shows heavy rainfall. The two stand in front of their combined doorway, now a single entrance. Lu Ming opens his side first, revealing a familiar world from his perspective, which completely shocks Gu. It's revealed that he is 25 years old and living in the year 1999. Gu then steps through her side of the door, surprising Lu Ming with the modern, advanced surroundings of 2018. The reality sets in. They occupy the same apartment, but are from different timelines that have inexplicably merged. To check if she's dreaming, Gu slaps Lu Ming's face again. When he feels the pain, it becomes evident that their destinies are inexplicably intertwined. They attempt to open their doors simultaneously, which causes their apartments to merge even further. After some investigation, they discover that they cannot access each other's side individually. They can only pass through when the other person opens the door first. Gu realizes that in Lu Ming's timeline, her father is still alive. She rushes to her childhood home and catches sight of her younger self playing with her father. The scene overwhelms her with emotion, but when she tries to approach them, the ground trembles, preventing her from getting closer. Back at the apartment, Lu Ming is curious about his own future. Rather than venturing outside, Gu lends him her laptop so he can search for himself on social media. Although he is fascinated by the advanced technology, as soon as he begins typing his name, the ground shakes again. They quickly understand that they are not allowed to make direct contact with their past or future selves, as it would violate the rules of time. Two versions of the same person cannot coexist simultaneously. Later that night, Gu plays music on her smartphone and orders food through an AI assistant. Lu Ming is astounded by the capabilities of the new technology in phones. Meanwhile, in another scene, a group of wealthy businessmen and scientists hold a meeting about dimensional anomalies. A scientist presents the example of a disappearing airplane, suggesting that it traveled through time and dimensions before returning to its original place. His research indicates that a dimensional merge has already occurred somewhere in the city, and the next step is to pinpoint its exact location. The lead businessman, whose face remains hidden during the meeting, plans to capitalize on the dimensional portal for profit. It's evident that he is financing the research with the aim of making money from the phenomenon. Late at night, unable to sleep, Gu and Lu Ming engage in a heartfelt conversation. Gu opens up about the deep impact her father's death had on her life. She reveals that after he passed away, loan sharks took everything, including their home and all his possessions. All she has left to remember him by is a keyring, which she cherishes. The loss and the struggles that followed have driven her to try and reclaim her childhood home, no matter the cost. The next day, they continue with their separate routines through their respective timelines. Gu, still determined to find a way to buy back the house, decides to pursue wealthy men, hoping one of them will agree to marry her and finance her dream. She goes on several dates, each time hoping to find someone who will meet her expectations, but no one seems willing to agree to her terms. During one of these dates, she meets a man who shows genuine interest in her. When he asks about her expectations for a relationship, she pulls out a virtual presentation of the house she dreams of owning. The man, however, feels like he's attending a business meeting with a real estate agent rather than having a romantic date. Disappointed, he quickly loses interest. Not giving up, Gu tries again, meeting another man she connects with through an online dating app. This time, she is more direct about her intentions, clearly stating her condition for marriage. He must buy her the house. To her surprise, the man agrees enthusiastically. He reveals that he owns a successful farming business and is a millionaire. However, there are some red flags. He's much older than her, speaks inappropriately, and comes off as a bit of a creep. Despite her reservations, Gu decides to give him a chance, seeing him as a potential solution to her problem. They proceed to an ATM where Gu withdraws a large sum of money, planning to make a down payment on the house together. The man insists on splitting the payment so that the property can be registered in both their names. Trusting him for the moment, Gu hands over the money and sends him to buy a bottle of water. However, to her dismay, the man turns out to be a scammer. As soon as he gets the cash, he bolts, leaving Gu stranded outside the bank. Devastated and furious, she waits for hours until the police arrive to investigate the theft. Meanwhile, Lu Ming is having a quick snack in a bathroom stall at work when he accidentally overhears a conversation between his company's CEO and his manager, Zhao. They are discussing an upcoming business venture. After the CEO leaves, Zhao reveals his sinister plan. He intends to embezzle the CEO's money and leave him bankrupt. Suddenly, Zhao notices that someone is eavesdropping. He pulls Ming out from under the stall and, in an attempt to silence him, offers to lend him the money Ming desperately needs for his own business. Ming, conflicted by the situation, asks for some time to consider the offer. Later, Ming approaches Zhao to discuss the situation, but Zhao is already set on firing him, knowing Ming has no solid evidence to expose his plan. Ming, rather than pleading for his own job, expresses concern for the CEO and the company's future. Zhao mocks him, calling him a fool for caring about others over his own interests. The next day, Gu is at her job at a jewelry store when she runs into her childhood best friend, Xiao Ya. Now married to a wealthy millionaire, Xiao Ya has clearly embraced a luxurious lifestyle. Wanting to impress her, Gu pretends to be a wealthy customer and spins a story about her own non-existent billionaire husband. The two catch up, with Gu continuously boasting about her fabricated life in an attempt to seem more successful. However, her lies quickly come back to haunt her when Xiao Ya suggests that they have dinner together with their husbands that evening. Left with no choice, Gu ropes Ming into her plan, dressing him up in a rented suit to play the part of her wealthy husband. At the dinner, things go smoothly at first, with Gu and Ming trying their best to keep up the charade. But things start to unravel when Ming accidentally drinks from the ice cup, exposing the rental tag on his coat, and makes an awkward comment about his job as a UFO researcher. The final blow comes when the fake diamond ring Gu is wearing, meant to resemble a $1 million piece, falls onto the stove and melts, revealing its cheap quality. Humiliated, Gu returns home in tears, feeling the weight of her failed attempt to impress Xiao Ya. Ming tries to comfort her, and the two end up watching television together. As they flip through the channels, a show about lottery tickets catches their attention, sparking an idea that could potentially change their fortunes. The next day, full of excitement, Gu and Lu Ming pick the winning lottery numbers from the future and purchase the ticket in 1999. Even before the official results are announced, they start celebrating, convinced they have struck it rich. Gu decides to take Ming out on a fun date. They spend the day playing virtual reality games, strolling through the city, and ending the evening at a bar. For a while, they forget their financial struggles and indulge in drinks, far beyond what they can afford. When it's time to pay, Gu hands over her expensive purse as collateral, promising the restaurant that she'll settle the bill the following day. The next morning, they wake up in the same bed, both feeling nervous and excited as the day of the lottery results has finally arrived. Anxiously, they wait for the announcement, and when their numbers are called, they are ecstatic. They've actually won the lottery. However, their joy is short-lived when the numbers on their lottery tickets suddenly vanish. It dawns on them that they are unable to change the future in any way. Confused and frustrated, they wonder why their timelines have merged if they can't alter events. Gu, still upset over the loss of her purse, returns to the restaurant only to find she can't retrieve it, leaving her furious. On their way back, she and Ming get into a heated argument, trading insults. In the midst of their fight, they suddenly notice Ming's face displayed on a massive billboard. To their shock, it is revealed that in 2018, Ming has changed his name to Shi and has become one of the most successful property developers in China. He now owns a multi-million-dollar company and is scheduled to hold a press conference at a venue just a few minutes away. Ming is stunned to see his future self, while Gu, who was arguing with him moments before, immediately changes her tone and starts sweet-talking him. Curious, Ming heads to the conference to catch a glimpse of his future self, Shi. However, as he arrives, the encounter triggers an earthquake, causing the event to be canceled. As Shi is affected, he suddenly gains new memories and realizes the truth of what's happening. Ming, meanwhile, injures his arm during the quake, and a scar appears on Shi's arm as well, demonstrating that any physical harm Ming experiences directly impacts Xia Yi in the future. It is then revealed that the mysterious businessman who aimed to exploit the dimensional portal is none other than Xi Yi himself. Scientist explains that Lu Ming must revert to his state before meeting Gu, as the new memories he's acquiring could alter his personality, ultimately affecting Xi Yi's future. The next day, Ming decides to resign and hands his letter to Zhao, refusing the money he offered. Knowing that he will be successful in the future, Ming feels confident enough to walk away without accepting Zhao's corrupt offer. Meanwhile, Xi Yi, Ming's future self, visits Gu at her workplace and invites her out for a date. He explains that he feels compelled to show his appreciation because she was significant to him during his younger years. Although Xi Yi and Ming are the same person, Gu doesn't feel the same connection with Xi Yi as she does with Ming. The date takes place at an upscale restaurant, but the atmosphere is tense and uncomfortable for Gu, making it difficult for her to enjoy. At the end of the evening, Xi Yi asks Gu to distance herself from Ming, explaining that her presence could lead him off the path to success. He promises to buy her the house she has always dreamed of in exchange for her cooperation and loyalty. Reluctantly, Gu agrees, not for the house, but because she genuinely cares about Ming's future and wants the best for him. That night, she returns home, embraces Ming, and informs him that she is moving out. She also mentions that Xi Yi suggested he accept Zhao's offer for the sake of his future. The next day, Gu moves out of the apartment, but by coincidence, an umbrella keeps her door propped open. This allows Ming to access the year 2018 without her assistance. Elsewhere, the CEO confronts Zhao in his office after discovering his betrayal. Panicking, Zhao knocks the CEO unconscious and forces him to drink alcohol, intending to stage his death as an accidental overdose. Meanwhile, Gu visits her old home for the first time in years when Xi arrives, returning the purse she had left at the restaurant. As he turns, Gu spots a rental tag on his clothing and realizes it is actually Ming, not Xi Yi. She embraces him and gives him a heartfelt goodbye, knowing this will be the last time they will ever see each other. They both shed tears, fully aware that their paths will never cross again. When Ming returns to his own time, he receives a call from Zhao, summoning him to a bridge. Zhao intends to enlist Ming's help to murder the CEO and make it appear as an accident. Ming refuses to comply with Zhao's plan, but Zhao insists that Ming is already too entangled in the situation to back out now. At that moment, Ming realizes that Xi Yi must have agreed to help Zhao in the past, which led to his future success. By taking over the manager's position after the CEO's death, Xi Yi built his empire on deceit and betrayal. Over time, he became ruthless, caring only for wealth and power, which is why he evolved into someone so different from Ming. The universe is now giving Ming the chance to make a different, morally right choice. While examining the CEO's keyring, Ming makes a shocking discovery. The CEO is actually Gu's father. He realizes that Gu's loss and her life as an orphan were all due to the choice Xi Yi made years ago. Determined not to repeat the same mistake, Ming saves the CEO's life. As soon as he does, Xi Yi, the corrupt version of his future self, disappears, signaling that Ming has successfully altered the future. This change means that Gu's father will live, allowing her to grow up with him and become a different person. However, this also means that the version of Gu whom Ming knows will cease to exist. In the final scene, Ming and Gu return to their shared apartment, but from their respective timelines. As they meet in the middle, Gu vanishes, her fate rewritten by Ming's choice. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel.